It worked. So today's video is all going to be about taking your wrists out of the stroke. And this is really important, especially on the short to mid-range putts. On a slightly longer range putt, on a slow green, there may be a little bit in the stroke. But if you're struggling with your stroke, perhaps look at whether you're too excessive. You would also know that because you'll get inconsistent roll. You may get the ball launching a little bit higher, bobbling a little bit more, not rolling out the same distance. If you can stand there and hit a number of putts that are rolling well to the ground, rolling the same distance when you put the same amount of effort into it, then you're probably okay with this and not getting too much of the wrist breaking down through impact. But you'll have seen the drill I did there was simply using another golf ball. And I go quite traditional. So I'm a right-handed golfer and I'm going right hand below left. But this can work both ways around. So I just put a golf ball just above my watch strap on my lead arm. And I'm trying to trap that between my lead arm and the grip. It's a good one almost as well to try and stay nice and light on the grip, that you can't go too tight. I've actually got a nice big gap almost from the end of the grip to my fingers in here. Too many golfers are going right in the fingers and gripping too hard. We almost want the thumbs down the center, and if we're going to go either way, we'd prefer them turned outwards, not turned in, not looking anything like an iron or a wood grip. We'd actually want our palms turned away from each other if we're going to go either way. So it's a good one to try and keep your grip pressure light and get that club right up high in the hand. So the feel here when I'm making these strokes, it's just that I maintain equal pressure between the grip end of the club and my forearm as I make the putting stroke. And what that does is it stops this end of the golf club moving about so much. So what I see with a lot of golfers who struggle is this type of movement. The end of the grip here is pointing behind my belly button, back away from the target. You'll see the ball drop there. And of course, what that's doing to the loft on the golf club, what's that doing? It's getting the club, yes, to rise up on the ball, but generally players are striking out of the bottom of the golf club when they're too wristy this way through the stroke. So sometimes striking out at the bottom, hitting a long way up on it, getting inconsistent roll, and struggling perhaps even with the face control here. So on these, I've got here about a 12-foot putt. I would say aim for within that 15-foot range that we really take any risks out at all. Even when we get into the longer putts and there is a little bit of wrist movement in there, we still want to get the sensation this end of the club stays pointing ahead of our belly button. I don't want to see the end of the club starting to work back behind my center. Okay, and this is quite a good one. I've got that laser line there almost representing my center. So I don't want my end of the club pointing behind that laser line, okay? So I want to try and feel like the end of the grip stays ahead of it. So simple exercise, whichever way around you grip, it is awkward to get it in place, but do some with it and then some without it. So got that ball trapped there. You may have to grip lower down the handle. I've got obviously a long grip here where I grip further down anyway, so this works easy for me. If you're normally at the top of the handle, you may have to grip a little lower just to do this exercise. It works absolutely fine left below right because, again, you would see that your left hand is going to be lower on the golf club. Now, if you've never tried that, maybe give it a go anyway, because left below right, in fact, I'll do one in a second. Left below right is quite good for right-handed golfers, again, to take the wrists out of it, so it's not a bad idea. Right, so nice and high. I've got the ball trapped there. Oh, my laser line's dying, but two out of two, can't be bad. I feel like I was actually gripping it a little bit higher up on the handle there. I'd like to come down just a little bit further, but again, trap it in there just above my watch strap for me. That's a better position. I'm a little lower down the handle so I can tilt, and then it's just really helping me take the wrists out of the stroke and control that face and control that roll. 3 out of 3. So even if I go left below right, the battery's died on it, but even if I go the other way around, the benefit of this style of grip, and I can still do the same thing with the ball in place, again, it's a good one to try and feel like we've got very firm lead wrist. Now this feels really awkward to me because this is not my normal grip. I'm getting my excuses in early in case I miss it. But this, again, a good way of not breaking down that lead wrist through the stroke. Felt like it wobbled a little bit in the takeaway in the backswing, but I don't think I've ever holed 4 out of 4. I love that as an exercise to do some with it. Then obviously some without it on the putting green. Now you could also do an exercise where you just push a tee peg in the end of the grip and you're just aware that you're keeping that tee peg closer to your lead arm than your trail. What we don't want it to do is start to move back, because again we're getting this happening with the handle affecting the loft on the golf club. So I'm going to try and get that same sensation without the use of my laser, but I'm feeling like I'm just going to maintain that gap. I'm not getting too wristy through the strike. And it's very weird with any exercises when you do something like that. 5 out of 5, by the way, on a 12-foot putt, I'll definitely take it. Whenever you do an exercise, you still feel like it's there for a few minutes. So it's a great one. Do some with it, do some without it, do some with it. Maybe as your warm-up exercise, especially, as I said, if you're noting inconsistent roll, struggling with face control, or you've seen it on video perhaps and you're getting quite wristy. So that same feel. Oh, the magic was bound to wear off at one point. It might have gone in if I'd hit it a little bit firmer, possibly might have caught that edge of the hole. But I really like that as an exercise. For me, it's just helping me almost not break down this wrist. I guess if I had another exercise in there, even a splint down the back of the lead watch strap, you could use like a rule or something on those lines, but anything that's going to be very good to take the wrist out of it. That ball sitting there is a great feel, because you take it away and for a couple of minutes you're going to get the same sensation. Then we're not allowing the wrist to break down and we're going to be a bit more stable with that club face. Give it a go, especially on those short range putts. I know it's going to help you. If that video has helped, hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, at least 2 instructional videos a week. Right now, YouTube is suggesting the next video of mine that's relevant for you, and it's just here. Click on it and check it out.